What's up guys, Phoenix here, and it appears that the 4-month-long so-called eternal format, the stale format, the format that we've really just kind of been waiting to get out of, is finally coming to a close. Konami has finally posted an updated Forbidden and Limited list on their website, active, that goes into effect August 29th, 2016. Now this isn't in effect for Toronto or YCS Rimini, which are, I believe, this weekend, yeah? But this will go into effect after those. Whether or not it goes into effect before or after those is irrelevant because it has already been announced that the previous ban list will be in effect for those two events. But I have not looked at this, and I'm really excited to look at this, and I want to give actual, real reactions as I look at this. The only thing that I can see on screen right now is that Perform by Monkey Board is banned, which I 100% agree with, because I believe every one-card scale should not be allowed in the game. I don't think Cliffort Scout or Perform by Monkey Board should be legal in the game. Now, Pendulum Call and cards like that, they kind of get a pass because they are two-card scales, so, I mean, it requires some form of interaction. But, so let's see, what has actually changed on this list? I wonder if this is just, the really, not-so-juicy list that they're going to give us, and then in, 2 months after the Megatins drop, we're going to just get the entire format reset, like what happened last year, where literally every deck was absolutely killed and slaughtered, or if this is actually, going to be a real ban list. But anyway, I'm just glad that we finally have something, because, geez. But anyway, so, as I've already said, Form by Monkey Board is banned, like I've already said. I completely agree with that. I believe that every single card that is a legitimate one-card scale should not be legal in the game. The Pendulum Summoning mechanic is already too unfair, too broken, that requiring at least somewhat more of a little bit more investment into your scales being set should be required. It should be a requirement for the thing. Oh man, nothing in Kaiser Coliseum. Now, while that seems so random. Kaiser Coliseum? I mean, it's a floodgate, so I am, in agreement. I concur, Konami. Ban more floodgates, please. Those cards should have never been printed. Cards that say your opponent can't perform an action, period, for the rest of the game until they are able to draw a card that says they can do so. Those cards shouldn't be allowed. Those cards 100% shouldn't be allowed in the game. They should have never been printed, but... so no new Exceeds monsters, no changes in terms of this. Construct is still banned. That's unfortunate. That's sad. But so literally, Monkey Board and Kaiser Coliseum are the only two banned cards. Well then, I think they could have definitely done more, but I mean maybe there's more things. All right, Seer went to 1. Alright, so now if Dante goes 1 with it, then that means the Burning Abyss deck really changes how it has to be played. But if Dante stayed at 3, then this ultimately doesn't change a lot. All it does is change your RNG skills at getting to the Seer. Although it does mean that every time a Dante dies, you have to add back Seer if Seer is engraved, or else you can never, you can't get the Seer back. Unless, there's still multiple Dantes. I haven't gotten down that far, but it went from 2 to 1, so that's alright. Aether the Heavenly Monarch is at 1? Oh man, that's actually very real. That's actually incredibly real. Aether Stormforth has probably been the most stressful thing of this previous format, with Monarch decks being basically really dominant. The entirety of the tribute mechanic that they abuse is very good. It's very simple, but it does a lot of good card interactions, so that card is at 1, and that's actually really shocking. I didn't expect any of the main deck Monarchs to get hit. I expected some of the spells and traps. But so this means that there's going to have to be, you're going to have to find some different Monarchs to actually summon. And this means that Escalation is probably going to take a bigger role in the deck as well, because, this was the prime card, the prime candidate to, use Stormforth on your opponent's turn. So, that's going to be interesting. What is this? A Cosmo Dark Destroyer went to 1? That card is so ignorant. I'm so happy. That card is the embodiment of ignorant Yu-Gi-Oh! That card says you can't target it, it's 3,000, and then when it dies, it floats, and when it enters the board, it pops a card? Damn! That card is so good. I'm very glad this card is at 1. I'd really actually prefer it not to be in the game, but the fact that it's at 1, I'm happy with this. Magic Spectre Unicorn Kieran. Alright, that's the best Pendulum monster in the game right now, and they actually put it to 1. That's very good. I'm very pleased so far with this entire list because it's either exceeded my expectations or it's doing exactly what I think needs to be done. This is great. Kieran is such a ball ache to any deck that can't effectively deal with it, and now that it's at 1, that means if you're capable of getting it off the board and into the graveyard, that means you literally can almost not have to deal with it for the rest of the game outside of factors like Daigusto Emerald and things like that, or Soul Charge, anything that revives it. But like if you out the Kieran permanently, it's gone for good. You don't have to worry about this multiple Kieran nonsense, and that's really good because against certain decks, Kieran is literally, it acts like a floodgate. It is a stun-based card. It's a stun-based combo card, but it does act like a floodgate against certain decks, mainly like Burning Abyss. Like if you prevent them from making Dante, or if you bounce their Beatrices, like you can't really play the game. It literally card literally might as well read "Don't make Dante." But that's all the monsters. All right, I always get surprised with how big this blue section is on this ban list. They limited Beatrice and not Dante. Does that change anything? I mean, it prevents you from doing Beatrice spams, obviously, and once the first Beatrice dies, you're not going to really be able to get it back in any way other than soul charging it. But I don't know if I agree with this. I would think I would much rather want Dante to 1, because then that prevents you from making multiple Beatrices turn 1. Now this just makes it to where you can only make 1 Beatrice per game, so I guess I agree with this. This is interesting. I'm curious to see how this one plays out. This one definitely isn't what I was expecting. Emergency Teleport went from 2 to 1. I'm pretty sure that's pretty relevant to the Cosmo deck, especially since it just lost 2 Dark Destroyers. That's actually really good. Pantheism went to 1. The best draw card in the game went to 1. I agree with that. That's basically just like the OCG. Pendulum Call went to 1. I agree with that as well. The Magician deck is actually probably the best set of Pendulum cards in the game right now. Simply just because of how easy it was for you to make scales. You have Skyrus, you have the Perform Power cards, you had Monkey Board and this in the same deck. Like, it just made it very easy. So I actually kind of agree with Pendulum Call at 1, because it basically just matches the OCG's ban list, and like the card is incredibly powerful, but not necessarily needed. That's the thing. The Monarch Stormforth and either went to 1 on the same list. Yo, that is insane. When I saw either at 1, I was completely expecting to just see the Monarch Stormforth stay completely at 3. This is great. Pantheism, the Monarch Stormforth, and either all went to 1 on the same ban list. That is insane. That means the chances of you being Stormforth Aethered on your turn are so incredibly low now. It's almost not even a factor anymore. I'm so happy. That is insane. That has been easily, like I said, the most stressful part of this past format, is that Stormforth Either on your turn literally outs anything. And it fuels their engine while it outs your cards. And this is cool. This is so cool. I've got the biggest smile on my face right now, as you can see. Aether Stormforth is one of those plays that almost will never happen to you ever again. That's so insane. No new trap changes in the limited side. Max C is semi... Is this like... This is a hand trap. Max C is semi-limited? I don't understand that one. I don't understand that one at all. Max C is such a cool card. Like, next thing you're going to tell me is, like, Valor goes to 1. Like, what is that? Like, I understand hand traps are kind of not how Yu-Gi-Oh! Like, was... It seems like hand traps weren't really what Konami meant to evolve Yu-Gi-Oh! Into. But still, like, putting Max C to 2 is weird. I mean, I guess it decreases the chances of me getting Max Seed when I'm playing, like, the Metal Foes deck, Metal Foes Yang Zing deck in the future, so I guess that's cool, but like, I don't know. I don't know if I agree with that one in particular. Like, that card seems so, like, okay, because it has such a stigma with running it. Like, it has so many risks involved. Like, you could just not be playing against a special summon deck. 1. 2, you could draw it as your 6th card after your opponent has already done their entire thing, or at any point during the game after your opponent has done their thing. It's a very high-risk, high-reward card, so I don't know if I agree with a hand trap of all things being on the ban list. Specifically one like Max C either. But Thunder King Ryo has gone from limited to semi-limited. It probably won't actually matter. It'll probably be played at 2 in like Pendulum decks, so you can Pendulum summon it and it acts as a floodgate. But other than that, I don't think it'll be relevant. And Wind Up Magician is at 2. I don't know why this card isn't at 3. Wind Up Carrier Zen Mighty is still banned. So this card could easily have gone to 3 forever ago, and it would not have been a problem. I don't quite understand this. But no other changes. Dragon Ravine is still here, god damn it. Like, why can we not have 3 of this card? It's pissing me off. And so Thousand Eyes Restrict went from 1 to 3. Allure went from 1 to 3, which is cool. got to pick up more of those. And Gold Sark went from 1 to 3 because Gold Sark is irrelevant with Dragon Rulers gone. Gold Sark was the only thing that made that I need to start over. Dragon Rulers were the only things that made Gold Sark relevant enough to be limited. The card could have easily been at 3 a long, long time ago. The card is played in really slow-paced decks that can really afford to banish your things and stuff like that and wait. So decks like Final Countdown and stuff like that, but those decks aren't really even popularly playable either because One Day of Peace is at 1, and then for Final Countdown itself is at 1. There's multiple different things. It's just a generic, really slow search card. Could have easily been at 3 a long time ago, but still, why the fuck is Dragon Ravine still at 2? That card is doing nothing. It's literally doing nothing, and there's no broken dragon support that we know of coming out in the future. The only thing that seems kind of insane are the true Draco rulers, and those are worms. And people don't play Ravine in the Blue Eyes deck because there's better options. What is going on here? Why is this card still at 2? This card has been at 2 for over a year now. July 16th of last year was when this card went to 2. And it's been at 2 since. It's been at 2 for over a year. I don't agree with this in any way, shape, or form. I really want that 3rd Dragon Ravine back just so that I can play 6 copies of it and I can just be like, yo, got him. But, okay, whatever. This ban list seems pretty tame. It definitely, really, really hurts Monarchs, which is something that I'm a big fan of. It doesn't really do a lot to Burning Abyss, because, it still is able to, it's capable of still making Dantes. Phantom Knight Burning Abyss still as a deck, still completely exists the way it does, but Beatrice can now basically only be summoned once per duel. So there is that, but other than that, all the other changes just seem really, really cool. Dart Destroyer being at 1 is a huge asset for anyone that wants to play decks that, can't really out Dart Destroyer on a multitude of bases. Yeah. Overall, I think this list is alright. I don't think it's as good as it could have been, because I want a reset button. That's all I want. I want these decks to go away. For the most part, Monarchs are probably going to go away. I mean, Extra Deck Monarchs is still pretty good. The biggest thing is that the deck can't really play on your turn anymore, with, either at 1 and Stormforth at 1, and then its best draw card is just gone. It's at 1, so, they have to either Tenacity into it or hard draw it, which is going to be hard, which means that also makes it harder for them to set up Stormforth and Aether in the same turn. So it's basically going to be almost impossible for you to get Stormforth Aether on your own turn. But basically, let me know what you guys think about this ban list in the comments down below. I think it's okay. A tad bit underwhelming in certain areas, but overall seems pretty decent. Just a nice way to start the new format, I guess. Monarch's not going to be too big of a threat in terms of you get to play cards now and not have them just cleared off your board for free. So there's all that. But anyway, let me know what you guys think about this in the comments down below. This has been my sort of analytical reaction to the ban list. If this is something you enjoy, I mean, it comes around maybe 3 or 4 times a year, so I guess I'll keep doing them when those happen. But other than that, as always, guys, thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe to all the nonsense you usually do. Check out the links in the description to all the stuff there. If you want to use any of those links to do the things that you need to do with them, then go for it. They're a resource. They're free to use. If you like the video, give it a like, give it a thumbs up. If you think other people might like my videos that share my videos around to them. Trying to grow the subscriber base and trying to grow the channel as effectively as possible. But other than that, that's it for this video. Again, let me know what you guys think about this ban list down in the whatchamajig below me. And as always, guys, take care.